Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Welcome back to a preview slash review for the Mexican national team. Now, of course, it's a bit of a review because we're going to be talking a little bit of what happened between Belgium and Mexico in this video, but we're mostly going to focus on the upcoming match against Poland. Quite an interesting game coming up ahead for the men of Juan Carlos Osorio, of another away game in another pretty big environment that is a fact, that is Poland. So before we dive into what is going to be this match against the Poland national team, let's talk briefly about the Mexican national team and how they're coming into this game. Of course, we saw, well, most of you I'm sure saw a great display of attacking football from the Mexican national team, a thrilling 3-3 draw against the Belgian national team. Now that is something to praise about, something to really be happy about. But there was a lot of things that, if you take away the fact that Mexico went toe-to-toe to Belgium, there are some things that you kind of come back and look at and say, wow, things should have been better and probably need to be better. Because I think Mexico, from the midfield up, you have such great potential, such great players. There's no real concern of scoring a goal. Now it's how Juan Carlos Osorio has been able to plant this team and how this team has responded from the midfield and back. At times in the game, Mexico were very dominant. They had most of the ball possession. They had most of the mobility. So it wasn't a game where you thought that Belgium were definitely better than Mexico. You thought that both teams were very level, and at some points in the match you thought Mexico was the better team. So I mean, it just went to go show that, I could go in depth of everything that I think happened in that Belgian game, but overall I think the two things that kind of just three things actually that stand out is that man right there, Irving Lozano, and his performance against Belgium. The attacking fluidity of the movement was actually great, and the Mexican national team in the back is looking very, very flaky. So let's go on and let's put that to side, and now let's preview what's going to be this upcoming game against Poland. Now, prior to me recording this, there has been updates to the Mexican national team. Now, this is the formation I thought they were going to go with. I thought they were going to go with Ochoa in goal. I thought they were going to go with Salcedo, Hugo Ayala, Hector Moreno, Miguel Ayun, Giovanni Dos Santos, Diego Reyes, Andres Guardado, Carlos Vela, Raúl Jiménez, and Irving Lozano. That looked like a very, very good possibility. Of course, the Mexican national team coming into this game has quite a few names that are going to be the rebaja. Obviously the big ones being Javier Hernandez, Hector Herrera, and Edson Alvarez. All three have flown back to report to their clubs, as well as now it looks like even Giovanni Dos Santos will be out. So quite a couple players missing from the Mexican national team. So it should be interesting to see how Juan Carlos Osorio kind of lines this up. He's going to have to rotate, which I think is going to be something in his favor. There's really no more to it. You don't have all your starting 11 players right there. So it should be interesting to see how this team lines up. And no matter what players go out there, I think they're definitely going to have to prove, and they're going to have to show that they're worthy and capable of starting for the Mexican national team. Now, Poland. Let's talk briefly about the opponent that is Poland. This is not the Poland that we all expected when we heard, the call up saying that, Mexico was going to play against Belgium and against Poland, and everyone thought, wow, this is going to be a great opportunity for the Mexican national team to go toe-to-toe with the likes of Lewandowski, all these great players from the Poland national team. But just as the Mexican national team has had its players kind of just been taken down, the Mexican national team, the Poland national team has had their injury woes. Lewandowski not even being able to come to the camp because of his injury that presented earlier in a match with against Bayern. With Bayern, not against Bayern. So there's no Lewandowski. There's no. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce some of these players' names because it's absolutely ridiculous. But the player from I believe he played in PSG, I believe, but now he's playing with West Brom. I'm really not gonna try to say his name, but he's not gonna be there also. You're gonna have a couple players that are definitely gonna be out. Peace Check is one of those players that didn't even get called up too. So I mean, there's a lot of players. I mean, notably, the top two players for this team were gonna be Milik and Lewandowski. So I mean, these two attacking forces were going to be a great test for the Mexican national team. And now you're kind of stuck with kind of like their second or third string striker. So not ideal for the Mexican national team, but it's still a good Poland team, something that Mexico should not take lightly. Yes, there's not going to be those big huge names, but it doesn't mean that these players cannot put a performance. I mean, you saw them go up against Uruguay. They drew 1-1, and now whether they can do it against the Mexican national team, it will be interesting. Poland is definitely a team that Mexico is gonna have to try to go at and attack. I think Poland is gonna play smart to the point that they can, and then we'll definitely have to wait and see how things can prosper from there. But if we kind of just talk about everything that's going on with the national team first and foremost, this is a Mexican national team that is kind of starting to give people hope, and the one player that is starting to give everyone a little bit more hope than anything is definitely Irving Lozano. And now, of course, saying that, he is a possibility to not play in this match because of injury too. So it's quite one of those things that you're just like, wow, this would suck. It would definitely suck to see an informed Irving Lozano go out because of injury or unable to play the game and really showcase his talent. And I think that performance against Belgium and a good performance against Poland can see this guy be just, a huge asset to any other team. So I mean, it's just gonna be important to see how he can attain himself, how well he can play if he does end up playing against Poland. So it's interesting to see how well in rhythm he can get going. But I mean, he's giving us a lot to really think about and a lot to be happy about. And of course, unfortunately, Tecatito Coronel wasn't able to be in these games. But can you imagine, the dual power of these two on the wings? It could be quite deadly. So it should be interesting to see how these two teams go against each other. I think Poland, with the fact that they're missing a couple of their key players, they're not really going to be all high fancy classed Poland. They're not going to be very, I don't want to say they're not going to be up to the task, because they're definitely going to try to do so. They're at home. They have their home fans that have the expectations for them to win against this Mexican national team. So it should be interesting the way that the team gets formed and planted. And I think, it's going to be one of those games where I don't expect a thrilling 3-3 game like we saw against Belgium. I think the only reason why is because both defenses kind of opened up really badly for both teams. And I think coming into this one, Mexico's definitely not going to try to make that same mistake. Mexico's definitely going to try to keep that defense as tight and as shut as possible. Excuse me. So it's going to be interesting to see how well this team can produce a well-formed defense. And I think Poland is gonna sit very tight. They're gonna be organized. I think they're gonna be looking for those open gaps and spaces, which I think Mexico will still find, because I think we're gonna see a center back partnership change for this game. I think it's gonna be Hugo Ayala instead of Nestor Araujo this time. Although Nestor did not have a bad game, I think the one player that did have a shaky game was definitely Hector Moreno. But you can throw that to him not getting regular time in Roma. But I mean, aside from that, you want to see the best team go up against each other. You want to see the best players go up against each other. And for right now, the best players and the best teams is not really to their full capacity. So this man right here, Raul Jimenez, I think is going to get the start. Hopefully, he does not emulate what just happened in the game and get a red card before the end of the first half. This was devastating, by the way, because I think the referee kind of was a little bit too harsh in this one. If you guys can see right there, the challenge, yes, I get it, it's a bit from behind, but he just kind of clips him. He isn't really going to try to break his leg or anything. So I think on that part, the referee got it wrong. I don't think it was a red card, but of course, the game is what it is, and And now things were a little bit different. I was gonna definitely have to adjust, and hopefully we don't see this. Of course, it's a friendly game. You don't want to see red cards in a friendly game because you're there for the expectation of everything that's gonna happen, and you don't really want to see it be tainted by that type of gameplay. But in the end, I'm gonna show you guys what I kind of adjusted and moved things around here. But it's gonna be going back to what I was talking about game wise. It should be interesting now that we do have a bit of empty spaces in the squad. Because you're gonna see players like Omar Govea and Antuna be in the bench, and while granted I'm pretty sure they're not gonna get the start, they're definitely gonna be coming in for their debuts. Hopefully, because I think you're at that point where now you're missing like 4, 5, 6 players. It's time for these players not to step up and say, look, here I am. I know I may not be playing in the best team ever in the world, but I am doing my best. I can showcase you. I got talent, I got skill, and I have discipline. I think that's one of the key things that Osorio looks in his players. Not just the fact that they have the ability to play his system, but that they have the discipline to do so. I think a player that can offer you both is an all well-rounded player in the end. So should be interesting. I think if I was to change things up, I think the lineup will tweak in a similar formation with what I started, only if Irving Lozano is not 100% and you don't want to risk your best player to get hurt. And let's face it, it's just a friendly. It's not like you're playing for points. Granted, it's a great opportunity to grow and a great opportunity to be like, this great experience. I think at the end of the day, you want to keep the health of the player a little bit more important than anything. So I think if Irving Lozano is not at 100%, we're definitely going to see a Javier Aquino come in and get the start. We're not going to see a Giovanni Dos Santos in that midfield now that he has presented this injury. I think we're going to see the likes of his brother, Jonathan Dos Santos, start in that position. And then we're going to see Diego Reyes again try to fill that center defensive mid gap. I don't think that's his position. I don't think that's for him. I think that position should and maybe will belong to Edson Alvarez at one point, hopefully during the World Cup. I think he's overall the better player suited for that position. But don't get me wrong, Diego Reyes has had his moments, but for the most part, everyone criticized him in that first goal because of how easily Hazard turned him around. So if it came down to it, I think Edson Alvarez is definitely gonna get that spot. But mind that Edson's not gonna be here. He's going back to America, and it's gonna definitely be Reyes. So I think your top 3 are gonna be, if it's not Lozano, it's gonna be Aquino, it's gonna be Jimenez, and it's gonna be Carlos Vela. I mean, I could see why maybe he want to put Jurgen Damm in the wide position, but I don't think at this point you want to give Vela the most minutes he can, especially since he's not going to be playing that much more in Real Sociedad. I think he's out of a contract during the winter, which means he's officially an LAFC player once that comes, and that means that he's not going to be getting regular football. So I think you want him playing as much as possible, and I think this is a game that he's definitely going to start, and he's definitely gonna try to give him as much minutes as possible. So I think in the back you're gonna see quite a similar tactic with Salcedo and Layun kind of being fullbacks or wingbacks, however you want to call it. And I think Moreno's definitely gonna stay in that center back position, only because I feel like he's the most experienced player, the leader, that yes, he has one bad game, but he can definitely turn around and be the best player ever in that Mexican national team in the defense as far as anything goes. So I think for that part he will be there, and I think Hugo Ayala will definitely get a shout. If not, I would definitely like to see Cesar Montes start, but that's kind of that looks like it might not happen, only because I think Juan Carlos Osorio isn't really, I don't know if he fancies him or not, but I mean, he calls him up. I mean, I'd just like to see the guy play a little bit, but who knows? Maybe I'm even wrong, and Nestor Araujo will play again. So, although that would be nice to see kind of some repetition in the center back position, especially after such a gaping hold in difference. So here you guys can see I'm giving Omar Gobea his Mexican national team debut. Hopefully Osorio does the same for him, and hopefully that does not happen. Kind of a similar goal that happened the whole time that Mexico was playing against Belgium. Just no one really picks up their defender. They're kind of just, they're called ball watching. There's no real attention to danger from them, and because of that, this happens. So I don't think we'll see too many of those errors again. I think at this point the Mexican national team needs, and this is a necessity now more than anything, it needs to find its defensive cohesiveness. The reason why is because you cannot allow stupid little mistakes that will cost you big time goals in a World Cup. And it's easy to say, like, oh, you're still a couple months away from the World Cup. There's still time to work on it. But in all truth and reality, there really isn't much time to work on it, because Juan Carlos Osorio does not get that much time with the boys before these international friendlies. These players aren't playing in and out with each other every weekend. There has to be some way for these players to kind of gel. And of course, yeah, you have the concentration camp that comes before the World Cup, but even then, so you know that's not enough time to really build such a strong partnership. So I think at the end of the day, the more time that Juan Carlos Osorio spends in building a partnership, the better it will be for the Mexican national team when it comes to the World Cup and when it comes to games like this against Poland. So nothing more else to say. I think it's going to be an interesting game. I think it's going to be a fun game. And I think this is going to be a result that could definitely favor Mexico coming into the next year. I think Mexico will take it, whether it'll be a 1-0 victory or whether it'll be a 2-1 victory. It should be interesting to see. We're running down to the end of the video. Let me know in the comment section down below, guys, what do you think your predictions are for the game? How do you think this is going to end up? And let me know, who do you guys think is going to start for the Mexican national team? Not just this game, but the World Cup itself. So we're going to focus now here on the last couple of ending seconds of this match against Poland. Things are about to get intense. So there you guys can see Hugo Ayala, who got the captain's armband after Andres Guardado left. I don't know if he intentionally or just kind of clashes with the player. Here you guys can see. You guys can be the judge of that. Is that a penalty? Is that not? Also, let me know in the comment section down below. It should be interesting to see what you guys have in reactions to that. So, we give away a penalty. It's the dying embers of the match. The Poland player takes it, and Ochoa with a huge save to keep Mexico in this one. It's still 2-1. Now the whistle has not blown. Looks like the referee's giving a little bit more time for Poland to get something. Can Poland get a little bit of magic going? What a great cross that is, and oh my word. The post has been an absolute hero for us in this game, and there. The referee blows the whistle. It's a 2-1 result. I believe that's going to be the result for the match. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you guys agree with this? Do you guys fair? Do you guys think it's going to be the right decision? Let me know. Let me know. It should be an interesting game. Hopefully you guys all are able to tune in and watch it. Yeah, and I don't think this Mexican national team will disappoint. I think they'll be very, forceful, and they'll definitely go try to get the result. So, yeah, I think Juan Carlos Osorio is starting to get, put his puzzle pieces in the right spot, and now it's time to see how the players react and respond to the manager. So this is where the video is gonna end, guys. Like I said, let me know in the comment section down below what are you guys' thoughts about this result, and yeah, if you guys are new, please subscribe. There's a lot more content coming your way, and yeah, like I said, follow me on Twitter if you guys haven't done so. But I'm gonna end the video here, guys. Until next time. Take care.